Hi, let's talk about different parts of the book today. Now, even before a story starts or the content of a book starts, there are several pages that are before the book and that are after the book. I have a couple of books with me over here that I'm going to use to show you what are the different parts of the book. So, starting with the one thing that you'll for sure see, and that is a foreword. The way it's written over here, it's foreword, and it is generally at the beginning of the book. And this foreword is generally written by someone, not the author, someone who is respected or is relevant to the subject matter of the book. It kind of introduces the author, and if the author has written the book for the first time, it kind of adds credibility to the author's work. So that's the foreword that comes at the beginning of a book. Then you have something called as a preface. The preface is written by the author, and it helps the author to discuss the creation of the book. It helps them to give the context of the book. So it is a way the author addresses the readers. So that's the preface. Then if it's a fiction based book, you will see a prologue. The prologue section of the book again comes at the beginning. It kind of introduces the main characters, the event, the key plot of the story, and it kind of acts like an introduction to the book. Then what you see is introduction, which is common to all the books. It kind of outlines the entire theme of the book, what the readers can expect from the book. For example, in this book, you'll see the introduction to the book. So that's introduction. Then you will see another page that's called dedication. For example, over here, the author has dedicated this book to her parents. So it's in honor of someone, it's in the memory of someone. It could be a dedication that is for one person, or it could be to multiple people. Then we have something towards the end of the book, and that is appendix. So an appendix contains all kinds of information, raw data, or it could be like some interview transcripts, anything that is too long or detailed and could not be added to the beginning of the book, or it cannot be made part of the end book itself. So it's too long, so it's generally put at the end. That's the appendix. Then you see something like glossary or notes, just the way it's over here, the glossary or notes. These are all the list of important words, terms, definitions, and they are generally added towards the end of the book. Then you have something called as the epilogue. An epilogue is the final section that comes after the main story. So it kind of gives closure to the book, especially if it's a fiction based book. It tells you what happened to the main characters in the story, what happened after the main story ended. So that's the epilogue. And then you have something called as the index, like over here. So you have the index page, which is a quick list of all the topics, names, subjects in the book. And then it is followed by a page number. So if you are kind of looking for a certain name in the book, you can quickly go to the index page, you can look for the name, and then you can look for the page number next to it, and you can go back and kind of reference it. So that's the index page. Besides this, sometimes you have also the contents. Contents is a page that you'll see which is part of every book. It kind of enlists all the chapters along with the page number, so you can quickly take a glance at it and then decide what part you want to read, or how many chapters do you expect in this book. Just kind of gives you a gist of the entire book. So these are some of the pages before and after the book, which are common to the format of every book that is published. Foreword, preface, prologue, introduction, appendix, dedication, epilogue, index, notes or glossary, and contents. So these are the parts of the book. Hope you learned a thing or two over here. Happy reading.